February 11th, 2021, at 6 p.m. located in the Intermediate School Library. Take a roll call, please.
Lane.
Here.
Craig.
Here.
Jared here. Stephen.
Here.
Dustin is absent.
Please join us in the flag salute. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance and wisdom and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion. Help us to conduct the school's business in the best interest of this community. In your name we pray. Amen. Item 2, public participation. I'm going to go over our board policy related to public participation real quick. I'm sure you all have heard it before. We'll go over it again just to remind everyone. Public pursuant to board policy BDV-R, members of the public shall be allowed to attend all meetings of the Board of Education. In addition, the Board of Education will have an item on every regular board meeting agenda that affords citizens the right to speak. Any individual wishing to address the board shall sign in with the board minutes clerk prior to the start of the meeting. The president of the board will then acknowledge only those individuals whose names are listed to address the board. The board will set a maximum time of 21 minutes at each regular meeting for the public comment. Those wishing to speak will be limited to 3 minutes. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they sign in with the board minutes clerk. The president of the board may extend the time if necessary. And I have Emily Upper.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon. I have 2 topics I want to discuss. First, the safety of the high school students. As we all know, there was a threat. I have a freshman, and he's very concerned, scared. And as a parent, you have to reassure them that they're safe. But of course, I can't guarantee safety. No one can. But what are we doing to make sure that these kids at the high school are safe? I know when I go to the intermediate, I have to be buzzed in. When I come to the high school, I can just walk in. And that's concerning. Is it all day or is it just in the morning and the afternoon? But I feel, and I'm sure a lot of parents do, I know it's inconvenient to be buzzed in and wait in the cold or the rain, but ultimately that's the best way for us to keep the high school students safe. And then with special education, that's a big topic for me. I have a child in special education, and ever since we've been in this district, there's always been turnover. So as a board, I want you guys to think about what is causing this turnover. Why are teachers in this district, just teachers in general, leaving at such great numbers? I have a lot of teacher friends. They are scared to talk. I know that there's been a recent survey that I think you implemented that. And a lot of them did it, but they were still leery because they fear retaliation. But there has to be some cause of why we're losing teachers in this district, especially special education. We have not had a full staff at the high school in quite a while. And like I said, my son's a freshman and he's the one in special education. He's dyslexic and dysgraphic and has ADHD. And he can be very successful when he has co-taught classes. But when they're not done correctly for math and English for him, he cannot be successful. He has to have that second teacher in here. So I want to know, why are we losing these teachers? Have we asked that question? Are we concerned about that? And why are we the only district in the whole state that has 2 special education coordinators or directors? That, to me, that is poor use of resources. When we are so short-staffed, the teachers, those resources should be going to the teachers to help the students directly. Last I heard, those 2 were handling a caseload. But as the director, you have different responsibilities, as we all know, than the teacher in the classroom. So I think those are some things that we need to look at. Why are we losing these teachers all the time? And what can we do to keep them here in the future? So that's all I have.
Thank you. 3, business items, discuss and take possible action on COVID-19 protocols. So,
The third attachment you have breaks down the 4 weeks of our dashboard that we've put on our website since our last meeting. 9/17, 30 positive students, 9/24, 21 positive students, 15 positive students on 10/1, and 22 positive students by, as of 10/10. So the numbers have stayed fairly steady. I think we've seen a decline in staff. We have no current staff members positive for 2 weeks in a row. So obviously my recommendation would be not change anything we're doing now.
How many of the recommended quarantines elect to quarantine?
Very few.
Very few. How many of the symptomatic are determined to be positive?
As they turn into it, I don't have that number. Do you have that number, Lisa? Symptomatic turning positive?
Not a large number, but, if you're symptomatic, there's so many symptoms that
And some of them may not test.
COVID that
Well,
they-
right, there's so many symptoms that before we were quarantining, those,
Well, and so if you're
Or we not.
symptomatic, you can't come to school until you have either had a doctor's note releasing you or you have a negative.
That was the same before and now.
when you say not very many, that's kind of a relative term. 10%, 20% actually end up being positive,
10% maybe?
10%. That seems to be the larger number of kids that aren't in school is the symptomatic ones. Then, since not many that are recommended quarantine, though. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, and many of our, some of our students who are symptomatic, their parents just keep them home and choose not to have them tested. And so that's an option too for them.
James, I asked this question before we started, are we preparing for or doing anything to be ready for the government says we have to vaccinate?
Yeah.
What's our vaccination rate with our staff? Do we know?
We do not have an accurate number because they don't all let us know.
Right.
They have. We have asked if they want to provide us with that information at that time. I don't remember what that percentage was. We reported last month. Do you remember what that was off the top of your head?
I don't remember.
That's just the ones that let us know that they were vaccinated. We were finding out more of those with the mandatory quarantine, so we are obviously without it. I think if that happens, then we have to wait on the legal opinion. I think there's going to be a lot of people standing in line for us on that.
Is anybody talking about it or preparing for it?
No. School's on.
Okay, anything else? So we don't need a motion on that. Don't change anything, so we're on to item 4, consent agenda, discuss and vote to approve all consent items. These items need to be approved by one board motion, unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items.
Answer any questions anybody has on it.
I just asked, on our conversion school days, that is the 1,080 hours. Do we have any extra hours in there, or is that the actual number?
That's what you have to convert to, because that's the minimum number. Yeah, we will have extras.
We'll have extras by how many?
You just don't have to do any actual conversion for them anymore to turn them in unless you alter your schedule after school starts your calendar.
How many extras are built into that?
I don't know, we did it the day when we changed that calendar, I don't remember off the top of my head. But if you don't do it by,
Right.
this month, then you don't have that option.
Right.
Anything else?
All right,
Look for a motion.
I make a motion to approve consent agenda items A through O.
Second.
Greg, vote please.
Lane,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jared, yes. Stephen?
Yes. Number 5, executive session. A vote to convene or not to convene into executive session pursuant to 25 OS Section 307B1 for the purpose of discussing employment as listed on attachment B.
I make a motion that we do convene an executive session for the purposes outlined on the agenda.